Millions and billions of dollars have been invested in failed product ideas. Don't let this be you. Welcome to week 3 of the Build, Measure, Learn Challenge. This week we're going to build a SLIDEWARE app MVP, minimum viable product. You may be thinking, SLIDEWARE, is that actually a real thing? It kind of isn't, yet it can be a powerful way to validate an app idea in the market before investing months of time and thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars in app development costs. In this video, I'll explain what SLIDEWARE is and introduce the week 3 challenge along with some tips for how you might approach it. If you are just joining the Build, Measure, Learn Challenge, this is a series of projects you can do to develop the skills and mindset for any idea for a new venture by starting small, creating a simple MVP of an online product or business that gives you a way to get immediate customer input. For this week 3 challenge, I'll walk through an example for creating a SLIDEWARE version of an app idea so that you can see how I do it. Be sure to stay to the end for a preview of next week's challenge. Let's get into it. For week number 3, the challenge is to build an app using a graphics design platform like Canva, Adobe Express, or Figma. In this way, you'll be creating an image that could go on a slide that shows what an app would look like, but it doesn't actually have any app capabilities behind it yet. Think of an app idea of something you wish you had but doesn't exist yet, like a magic button that fixes a headache problem for you. Using a template from one of these graphic design platforms, create a mock-up for your app. The goal of this challenge is to clarify exactly how your app will work and to be able to demonstrate it to others. This way, you can test an idea for an app product in the market before committing to all the effort and cost to actually building it. SLIDEWARE can also be a good way to engage potential investors or other stakeholders in your endeavor before it even exists. Here are some suggested steps you can take to be able to succeed at this challenge. Step number 1, create a free or trial account on Canva, Adobe Express, or Figma. If you've never used these before, they can be very easy tools to use to create what looks like an app. Now, if you're not familiar with Figma, that actually takes a little bit of time to learn how to use. So if you haven't used it before, I don't recommend it for this challenge. However, Canva and Adobe Express are so easy to use, you likely don't need any experience at all. Or by watching a few YouTube videos or getting a little bit of input about it, you'll get the idea and you'll find it's very, very easy to use. Step number 2, access the templates on one of these platforms and choose one that is similar to the kind of app that you want to create. Whenever you type in template app and then fill in the blank for what it is for, chances are that any of these platforms are going to come up with lots of examples of apps that actually look a lot like what you want to do. Next, once you've selected one of these templates, you want to illustrate 4 or 5 screens of your app that show off the main features of what you want to include. This is where choosing the right template can be really helpful because often templates will have 3, 4, 5, 6 different screens of an app. And you can then just modify those to look like what you want them to, and it'll show what's happening. At the same time, you don't have to do a lot of the work constructing the design from scratch. Step number 4, add branding in terms of colors, logos, and themes that are likely to resonate with your target customers. This should not only show what the app does and how it works, but it's also starting to demonstrate what the user experience will be like. And finally, step number 5, export an image of each screen and put those into a slide deck. You can use PowerPoint or Keynote or Google Slides. You can also use an AI slide deck builder like Gamma.ai to show off your app concept as a demo or as part of a pitch deck. In this way, when you're demonstrating what your business idea is about and what your app will do, people can see exactly what the experience will be like, even though there's not the dynamic ability to actually touch and demo the product in real time. So now let's jump into a demo and I'll show you how I would approach this challenge. For the example today, I'm going to create an app that could be used as a restaurant revenue and cost tracker. Let's take a look. Okay, so for this challenge, I've chosen to use Canva. This is one of my favorite design programs or app platforms, and I use it a lot. Some other good ones include Adobe Express, also Figma. Figma is actually pretty sophisticated. It's often used by app developers or product managers as they're creating apps that actually mock up the screens for coders to then program them or use a no-code platform to create those. So that one has a pretty good learning curve. I wouldn't recommend that unless you already know it. If you do know it, that's probably the best one because you can really do a lot. It's very dynamic and it's really particularly tailored for building apps. Now for SLIDEWARE apps, Adobe Express is also really good, has a great AI engine. I'm just most familiar with Canva and I use it the most frequently. The reason I use it is it's like the Swiss Army knife of design app platforms because it can really do any kind of design project that you have. Everything from a really professional looking document or a presentation or social media posts. It has video editing capabilities. You can make brochures, ebooks, presentations, I think I mentioned. So just even websites. So anything you really want to create from a design perspective, it's really set up to help you do that quickly and easily. One of the things I really like about it are the templates. It has lots and lots of templates. So a lot of times you can find what you want to build already built by someone else and then just tailor it to your purposes. You can apply your branding or colors and then you can make changes to it. But a lot of the heavy lifting is done by someone who is an experienced or even professional graphic designer. And so you have this really great templates that you can use. Even with the free version of this app, you can find most of what you need or want to be able to do is here. So that's where you can really come here for any graphic design things that you want to create, and you can always go back later and improve them or hand it to someone who has more skills, but it's a great place to start. So for the app design concept, I'm going to use the templates that are here. And it may be that I can find what I'm looking for in a free template. For this type of thing, for web app designs, my experience is the premium version has a lot more to choose from. So if you're really doing this for real, you may want to consider paying for the upgrade. Also for this week's challenge, if you've never used Canva before, you should be able to get a free trial. Sometimes they have 7 or 14-day free trials where you can try out the pro capabilities without having to pay for them yet. Okay, so I'm going to start with the content search bar here, and I'll start with what I'm going to do for my concept. So I'm actually going to create a web app with financial reporting dashboard for restaurants. So I can type that in here, web app for financial dashboard restaurant, and I'm going to click on Canva templates and see what it comes up with for me. As you can see across the top here, Magic Design is already in motion. So what it's doing is actually using AI to create some different screens or mock-ups based on your description. What I'm seeing here is it's created more like marketing material as opposed to an actual app itself. So I'm probably not going to use any of those. This is where I don't find the AI in Canva is really that strong yet, but in time I'm sure it will be. But as we scroll down here, you can see lots of different templates for different app type approaches. So we could find this nice dashboard here. As I mentioned, I mean, these look like most of them are in the pro version. Here's a free version one. It doesn't look as real, but there are some. Here's another one. Those are more like documents or slides. But here are several right here that we can see that look like they would fit the purposes very well. So let's say we wanted to start with a mobile app. Here's one that we could use for the mobile app. And once we select it, we just say customize this template. And we can go in and actually adjust what this looks like. We can also, if we want to go back, if we wanted to do a full-sized web template, we can look here to see which ones are available that might be a good fit. So we can scroll through some good ones here. Yeah, most of the best ones are right at the top. So let's take a look at this one. It's kind of snazzy. Actually, I like this one. It's a little bit simpler, more straightforward. So let's use this one. And we'll say customize this template. So now we have a kind of a desktop version and a mobile version. We can modify these accordingly. I'll go ahead and just use the desktop one for this example, but just showing how you could choose each one. And sometimes some of the templates will have multiple screens or pages where you can go into different screens of the app. Most of these that I've found here only have the main screen, but that's okay. For our purposes, we're looking for a nice clean slide that shows off what looks like the product, and then we can implement that as we go. So before I go any further, what I'd like to do is add a logo here. So I want to go back to the home screen. So I'll go to the Canva home screen, and let's say app logo. And we'll do Canva templates. And we've got a bunch to choose from here. This one actually looks pretty good. It has like a little shop. It could be like a restaurant. So customize the template. We'll say, how about we call it food stats? Spell it with a Z. Hopefully that gives us some room from a copyright perspective. We'd want to check on that. And let's say your numbers now. All right, so we've got a nice looking logo there. Let's go ahead and grab this. We'll group these so we can have them together, and then we'll copy. And now we can go right over to our app and we'll paste that right in place here. And now we'll make this a little bit smaller. I can zoom in a little bit to get it in just the right spot. So I'll put that up here. I don't want that to be too small. So what I'm going to do, I'll just grab all of these icons. Don't want to move the big box, but let's move these all down a little bit. Give that logo some room to breathe. I'll do the same thing here with the button. So for the dashboard, pull this down. Up there, good. That gives us a little bit more room for our logo. Let's make it a little bit bigger. All right, and I'm sure from a design perspective, this isn't all exactly perfect, but it gives us a good idea. So let's zoom back out a bit. All right, so it has a welcome back message for someone. Let's say, here's what's happening at your restaurant this week. And as we go down the side menu here, we probably want to do like food. Let's say I'll call this revenue. So food revenue. The second one we probably would want to be something like labor costs. And this next one we want to be something like cost of goods sold. And yeah, we'll maybe leave that as customer. And so we probably would want to change these icons. We can actually go here and we could say, let's see, how about a money icon? Yeah, got a nice dollar sign there. Let's see, let's do this one. And we want to make that a lot smaller. And you can see a lot of these, you just kind of drag them into the size and place that you want. So drag that little dollar sign right here. And then we could say person icon. We can do, maybe how about like, let's see if they have waiter. Wait staff. Yeah, there we go. I think that's a good, yeah, even I like this one. So yeah, there's our team. And drag that over into place. And again, we can zoom in a little bit if we need to be able to see this a little bit better. Get that to just the right spot. And you can see it kind of snaps the lines into place. So as we go here, it kind of lets us know where everything goes. We'll do a plate icon. Let's see if we can get like a plate with there we go. That'll be a good one for cost of goods sold. Make that one a little bigger. And then we have the customer, so I think that one can stay as it is. All right, so let's zoom out. So now we've got some kind of appropriate icons here. We've got our categories, we've got our details. Now we have total sales. That's probably something we want to show here. Let's turn that into a dollar amount. So it's like $9,872. Stretch that out a little bit. You can change the size as well. Visitor count. Let's turn this. This would obviously be like people. So let's say like thousands. We'll make it 1,234. And let's say we're up 91 this week. And then total orders. Let's actually make this labor cost. So that's going to be a dollar number. And that's probably going to be a fairly high number. Let's say 7,421. And then we can do cost of goods sold. And let's also make that a dollar figure. Let's say that's going to be maybe like say 4,300. 86, something like that. And so now we've got some numbers here, and we want to adjust some of these little subtitles here. But we have a revenue stat showing. This is showing a monthly. We might want to make that weekly. We could change those to days. And then sales by category. So we would want to change these to something that's more relevant. So things like entrees. We could have appetizers. We could have beverages. And desserts. Oops. And obviously these would be much more granular in a real situation, but this gets the idea across. Desserts. All right. So as we zoom out, we now have our web app. And so this is, it's obviously not perfect. We'd want to make some adjustments. We want to make it fit the solution that we're presenting, but we now have a SLIDEWARE version of the app. And one thing I might do is find a realistic looking version of a laptop or a Mac here so that it looks more like this is a real app that already exists. But we're ready now to download that. So we can go to share and download. I'll do it as a PNG file. And at this point, we're ready to drop it right into a presentation. The great news about Canva is that it does that as well. So we can go back here to the home screen and say we want to do a pitch deck presentation. We use Canva templates. And it will bring up lots of choices for pitch decks. So we already have some pitch deck templates that we can use. Can pick one that we like. Here's one. And as you can see, the great thing about these is they have all the slides for the pitch deck. So if it fits or is close to your pitch deck template, you could choose one like this. And it already has the pitch deck. You would obviously be designing this to fit your particular business idea. But I'll go here to solution and we'll say add page after that. So now we've got a page here and I'll be able to go right to my download folder and drop my image right in here. And here is my SLIDEWARE template that I can just put right in there. And actually I need to do this a little bit differently. So it actually includes, it looks like when I downloaded it only caught the image of the screen without the laptop. So a little bit of work to do here, but you get the idea. We have now in the pitch deck, when you talk about your solution, here's what it does. You're like, here, let me show you a quick blink at it. And so now this is an MVP of sorts. It's a SLIDEWARE MVP that you could show to an investor. This is what we're going to build, and this is why we need investment capital. Or you could show it to potential customers. And so when we move into the measure phase, we can talk about ways we might use this mock-up, this SLIDEWARE version of your app, as part of your customer discovery, customer development process where you can show it to them and get feedback. Once you've built your SLIDEWARE app, you're now ready to move to the measure stage of the process. As with previous challenges, there are many ways that you can collect data and measure results related to the app. But for this one, I recommend customer interviews. This involves asking a few people who fit your target customer segment to talk with you, to view your SLIDEWARE app, and to give you feedback. Here's why this can be a powerful way to gain key insights about your app. First, you can hear directly from potential customers whether they have interest in the app idea at all, and if it would meet a specific need or desire for them. Second, you'll likely get input or ideas that could help you to improve or expand on the capabilities for the app, either right away or at some point in the future. If possible, record these interviews and get a transcript. That way you can go back later and really analyze what was said and make sure that you've documented all the input that you've received while you're interviewing potential customers and collecting data about their experience, their ideas, and their suggestions. Now you're ready for the learn step of the process. Once you've documented your user interviews, you can identify the next steps for improving the app, or take a step back if the findings don't support your assumptions about interest in the app. Be sure to capture these learnings in a document or notebook so that you have the ability to go back and review these and ultimately build on the learnings you've gained from this new perspective that the customers have given you during the interviews. This is just one example of creating an MVP using SLIDEWARE to demonstrate the purpose and design of an app. Now it's your turn. Good luck with this week's challenge. Please share below what you've created in terms of your SLIDEWARE app and also what you've learned from this third weekly challenge. Be sure to also include other ideas for apps you think you could build using SLIDEWARE. If you're ready to start working ahead on the week 4 challenge, here's a preview. The challenge will be to build a newsletter or directory that you can use to start experimenting with affiliate links. Tune in next time for more details. Keep going.